All right, Dave. So let's start it with the Friday night game. East Lansing, under the lights. CMU's welcoming it into town. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Kyron. He is on the athletic training staff for the CMU Chips. He will be that guy that is awkwardly squirting water into someone's helmet, face mask situation. You know how you see that all the time, Dave? It's like, yeah, just hit me with some, bro, and I hope he doesn't spray it in someone's eyes. That's all I hope for him. But yeah, he will be on the sidelines for that one.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, Spartans favored by 14.5. Let's start there, Dave. Who you like?
Fire up Chips, man. 14.5 points. Brant, let me just take you back to a day back in, gosh, I don't remember if it was 2008 or 2009.
2009. It was 2009.
And I rushed the streets of East Lansing as a Central Michigan Chippewa as they took down Michigan State in a last-minute, just amazing finish to a game. Brant, I'll tell you right now, Central's talking about winning this game. And 14.5 points, give me plus 14.5. I'm flirting with the money line. I think the Chippewas are going to bring something special there. And I don't know if they win. But I've got a lot more confidence in a feisty Central team than I do in Mel Tucker's Michigan State squad in a quarterback that I don't know who it is yet. Is it Noah Kim? Is it that kid behind him? I don't know. So give me CMU, fire up Chips, 14.5 points. Who do you got?
Dave, I'm rolling with the Spartans. I don't trust CMU. I watched them play a couple times last year. They're not what they used to be, I feel like. The program is decent, but they're not the top of the MAC like they have been in years past. So I think the Spartans will be good enough to cover the 14.5. I'd like them to win by the likes of 15 to 17. Let's put it that way.
Brant, I heard a stat this morning on the radio that for the last 16 years in a row, a MAC team has beaten a Big Ten team. I'll leave it at that.
All right, Dave. Well, thank you for that informative stat. Yeah, Spartan fans, be weary. Be very weary of those Chips coming into town. All right, let's move on. East Carolina at Michigan, 35.5 points for the Wolverines that they're giving to the Pirates. What do you like here, Dave?
That's a lot of points. That's winning by more than 5 touchdowns. I'll take Michigan, though. I just don't see ECU really scoring on Michigan, and I see Michigan scoring more than 40 points. So on that premise alone, I'll take Michigan to cover 35.5. What do you got?
I'll take the same. I don't believe that it's by much. I think it could just barely scrape over the 35.5, but I see Michigan also covering this number. I think that Michigan's depth will play a factor in the second half, and they'll just shut ECU down. ECU coming out with a new quarterback. They've got new offensive play callers. They have a new coach. It'll be interesting to see how they play. So I do like Michigan to cover there. Moving on to the afternoon game, Dave. Colorado at TCU. This is one of my favorites because while I'm a glutton, I must have like this affinity for punishment because we don't know what these teams are going to be. Max Duggan, gone. Quentin Johnston, gone from this TCU team. Kendre Miller, gone from this TCU team. A boatload of defenders gone. And what is Colorado, Dave? 80 new players? Like, I'm just going to ask you, does TCU cover the 20.5 at home?
I think they do. I think that Colorado's got all sorts of hype right now. You got Coach Prime in there. I mean, Travis Hunter, like, these guys and like the big names, and he's building this thing from the bottom up. Literally, though, from the bottom. I mean, Colorado was horrible. They have been horrible. So yes, it's a whole new team. It's a whole new culture. All of the stuff. I just think this continues to beat the narrative, though, that like TCU just doesn't get the respect. Like, we know what they did last year. TCU's been good for years. I respect Sonny Dykes. He has won my. I know they don't have Garrett Riley anymore. He's obviously over at Clemson, but losing that OC hurt. I don't even know who's playing quarterback for TCU. I know Max Duggan is gone. Obviously, Quentin Johnson is gone. I just think that what Sonny Dykes has built over there is something special, and I think that they cover. It may not be by much. It may be by 21 points, but I will take them to cover 20.5. What about you?
Dave, I'm rolling with Prime. I would like to I would like to just say that I trust that Shedeur Sanders can keep this close enough and that offensive rhythm, like they can get some stuff going to stay with TCU a little bit. That's lost a lot on the defensive end of things. So I will take Colorado with the 20.5 points. Okay, Dave. Ohio State, who actually named a quarterback today. They actually named a starting quarterback. I don't know if you saw that, but you're shaking your head yes. So I'm assuming you know Kyle McCord is the starter for now. Don't let things get hairy because Devin Brown's had a great camp as well, and we all know that he's the true dual threat. So we'll see how it works for Kyle McCord in the first half. But they are favored by 29.5 points at the Indiana Hoosiers. Going to Bloomington, never an easy place to play, Dave.
Indiana's horrible. They lost their quarterback. They lost AJ Barner. I believe they're both captains too, by the way, who are now playing for Michigan. I hate picking Ohio State anytime, but let's just be honest. Ohio State's going to come out and they're going to roll. They've heard the talk. They've heard the chatter. They know what Michigan fans are saying. They've heard the laughter about the QB competition. Is it Kyle McCord or Devin Brown? Surprise. Brant, I don't think it matters. I think that, truthfully, I almost see this right now, and maybe Kyle McCord is going to just be a great, the next great Ohio State quarterback. In my head, I feel like that guy is actually Devin Brown. I almost see this being teed up like a Cade McNamara, J.J. McCarthy type of thing, where they're both going to get playing time. He's going to come out and give it to Kyle McCord to start the game because he's earned it. But Devin Brown's going to get his chance to play too, and I think he's going to be the more electric quarterback with his legs. I'm not going to call him Justin Fields-esque because that's not fair, but I just think that he's the one who ultimately ends up with the keys to this offense. Just my prediction. Don't know anything outside of my own thoughts, but that's what I think is going to happen. And Brant, whoever is quarterback, it doesn't matter because they're playing with two of the best receivers in the country in Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka Egbuka, and they've got like two or three more five-star kids ready to play right behind them. They're absolutely loaded. Caden Stover's back. Travion Henderson back. Maya Williams back. Like, that offense is loaded. Now, I still don't know if they can beat a team like Michigan in the trenches. I know I'm rambling here. Like, I'm just I think from just the skill positions alone, Ohio State's going to Ohio State, and they're going to blow the top off Indiana. I don't think it's close. I will take the Buckeyes. You.
I'm right there with you, and I'm actually going to cite the opposite. I'll cite their defense, the Jack Sawyers, the JTTs. Their secondary supposedly much improved, but their defensive line is disgustingly nasty. That's something that we'll get into later in the season. But you've touched on the skill positions. No need for me to touch on it. However, I don't think they score as much as maybe Ohio State fans would love to see. I don't think this thing gets into the 50s like they have in the past on Indiana. I think this settles into somewhere in the 30-40s range, but I don't think they give up very many points at all to Indiana. Indiana has like two redshirt freshmen that are fighting for this position. I think they did actually name one of them the starter, but redshirt freshman against this defense is not going to fare well, especially when you play for the likes of Indiana. So I will take Ohio State to cover the 29.5. Actually looks kind of low to me, if I'm just being honest. I don't know. So give me Ohio State. And then game of the weekend, Dave. LSU, Brian Kelly's Tigers, playing at Florida State. Well, not at Florida State, at Orlando. But Florida State getting 2.5. So LSU favored by 2.5. Who do you like here, Dave?
I can't wait for this game. I should start there and say, this is easily the game of the week. Yes, it's a top 10 matchup. LSU surprised people last year in Brian Kelly's first year. Florida State's got like the hype train this year that they're it. They're the team. They're going to win the ACC. I love this matchup. I'm personally going LSU here. I just think they're more ready than Florida State. I'm not quite there with Florida State yet. To be honest with you, though, if Florida State comes out and wins this game, A, I'm not going to be surprised, and B, I'm going to be bought into Florida State this year. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. It's going to be a prove me wrong, and I won't be surprised if they do prove me wrong. But right now, I'll take LSU, Brian Kelly, Jane Daniels. I'll take what they got coming back and take them to cover 2.5 points. What about you?
Dave, sometimes it's not what you know, it is how the lines are set. And when it becomes down to an even match like this, you kind of look at it and say, who can I get the points with? Okay, I can get 2.5 with Florida State. Okay, I'll ride with them then because I've got the cushion there. I do like the 2.5 for Florida State. It is in the home state of Florida, in Orlando. So for those reasons, I will ride with Florida State. Not to mention, I know camps are always overblown, whatever. But the receiver core for Florida State is just getting a ton of love. So I think they're going to be throwing that thing around. And, I like Florida State's quarterback a lot too. All right, Dave, that does it for the betting segment. We got 5 picks on the board this week. And to go with the 5 picks, we got 5 straight days of college football. Starting Thursday, going all the way through Monday. It's going to be an amazing weekend, so lock yourself in on Labor Day weekend to watching some college football. And when I say lock it in, I mean lock it in with this lock of the week, Dave. We're rolling with Rutgers football. They're taking on Northwestern. Northwestern is what I would call right now in shambles. They're in a really bad way. I don't think you could have played a better drop. That is the perfect drop for Northwestern right now. Mass exodus. Pat Fitzgerald is literally coaching on high school sidelines as like an assistant right now. Rutgers, while they're Rutgers, I mean, Greg Schiano, I trust them a lot more. They're at home. They should be able to clear the 6.5. Please clear the 6.5. Dave, thoughts on that?
Don't you ever bring me a bet or lock of the week that is a Northwestern and Rutgers bet ever again.